Yep, I got you. Peace, Mose. We about to get started. It's gonna be a good one. Get your pencils and your papers. Get your pencils and your papers. You know, we like to give a couple people a minute to log in. We got a couple more minutes. We're going to get started. I say we 2 minutes in, just be patient. We're jumping right in. So we got to give our people a couple of minutes to log in. And we're going to get right to this teaching, Morris. Hey, peace, Morris. Everybody good? Everybody good? I always like to greet each other with Islam, peace, assalamu alaikum, shalom alaikum, peace more. Whatever name you represent to brothers, let's give some shots out to each other. Assalamu alaikum more. Alaikum salam. Islam. So we get all these are our words, man, when we greet each other. Shalom alaikum, these are all ours, Moors. We must understand this. Peace, that's right, noble. Peace. Hotep, all of it, man. Once we understand this, man, we'll stop set tripping, man. You got to understand this is our vernacular. I promise you, man. These is your cousins, your brothers, man, when we speak of this rich culture, Moors. So I want to be clear of that, man. But I shipped your hats out, James. I shipped them out today. So you should get 2. I sent you both of those colorways. Let me put my mic on. Keep my mic on, James. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, I shipped that out earlier, and I shipped you an extra tassel. So when you take your fez off, you'll see. Well, you see it. You got that clip in there. You have to unclip it right, and then you got to be good how to skim it back through the umbilical, the navel, because it's hard. So maybe let your empress do it if you're not patient with a delicate hand. You know what I mean? But I put your extra tassel in there. Because I told you, that's one thing about these fairs, they come loose, and we got some new ones. I shipped you one, I had a couple extra ones, and like I said, don't even worry. Matter of fact, James, don't even worry about that. That tassel I sent you, that's on the house. Don't even worry about that. That tassel I sent you is on the house. So what I'm doing, I got more tassels coming. That's a little bit more together, like mine. This is my 18-inch one. I'm going through a ceremony in about, I say, almost 3 more weeks, and my tassel becomes 24. I have my 24-inch tassel. Once I do some things, with my elders and, get some science down, get some extra stuff for my people, but yeah. So don't worry about that. I sent you one. That's on the house, man. You're gonna like the hats. I should have a sample of the shirts. If it's Allah's will, once my noble get back with me, I should have samples of the shirts, hopefully tomorrow. And we're gonna have the compression shirts like this to match the hats. I can do it myself, but like I said, I'm building a conglomerate with brothers so we can do things, And so I got one of my nobles, man, that does that. Jerseys, he do everything, and we're coming together. And I said, once our haberdashery page up and the Temple and School page is up, it is what it is. But yeah, James, I sent you 2 hats, the extra tassel. In a minute, the compression shirts are gonna be done. We're gonna have compression shirts like this. And then for guys that like to be, casual, I like to be casual a lot too. We're gonna have the compression shirt with the collars, you know what I mean? So you can wear casually, They're stepping it up. So you can always represent who you are. Cause I don't give a damn about no athletic team. I ain't wearing no athletic team brand. Why should I? That don't represent me. It don't mean nothing to me. I don't care what team win or lose. I can care less. I don't care what team win, no dang go NBA playoffs, no NFL, none of that. I can care less who win any sports thing. I can care less. I'm not rocking that. I'm not putting that on my body. Once we come to the light, if we say we're conscious, then you should understand what I'm saying. And then you should want to support your own people. Because none of that stuff means nothing to me. None of that stuff ain't better than what I rock. When I rock these compression shirts, no Under Armour ain't better than this. Yeah, I had the stuff previously, but hey, that stuff ain't better than what I rock. Not to me. This stuff means stuff to me. Same compression shirts, same thing. Boom, I ain't wearing no snapback. I'm from Michigan. I ain't wearing no Detroit Lions hat. I got a whole bunch of stuff I had in my closet from years ago. Man, I probably got 50 hats. I ain't wearing that stuff. Why? Because it don't mean nothing to me. That's why. I don't care what it matters. It don't mean nothing to me. It don't mean nothing to me. That's why I'm giving it all away. And I've been giving it all away. Brand new stuff. Why? Because I don't need it. I'm not a hoarder. Give it away. That's what I do. And I rock things that mean things to me. And if it don't mean nothing to you, then I'm not talking to you. And that's where I show Moors, even adults, how they just waste money. How? On clothes, buying a whole bunch of garbage. Like where you going? So I have real degrees, man. I've showed all my businesses that I've set up, that I help, my financial literacy. We do shirt printing and hat printing. All the nonprofit business startup, all the lectures that I do through my nonprofit, the mentoring, all that stuff, man. So let's get into our Moorish American prayer, man. And I'm just mind my doorbell. I think that's my Amazon. Yeah, hold on. I gotta get the door, man. Those might be the compression shirts for my. Hold on 1 second, boy. I'm sorry about that. Hold on. Yep. Yeah, that's cool. That was cute. That's my door, man. But Amazon be coming out here all day. People be ordering all type of stuff. But like I was saying, Morris, we must support our own, man. And we got to stop falling for propaganda. Eurocentric propaganda, Negrocentric propaganda, all this spookism stuff, and not really. See, that's the thing that Carter G. Woodson was talking about. If Moors really study and research, nothing's new under the sun. Carter G. Woodson was telling us the miseducation of the Negro, telling us how our own brothers and sisters that look like us has how can I say it, led us into a burning house. Because they should know if you educated, leading us to these false gods and this pseudo education, this pseudo academia. And that's why I say, man, Negroes want to, instead of them having their own table and chair at the meeting, they want to sit at somebody's table. Man, you know what's up? Hey, Dad. I don't know if my dad might be asleep. Man, me and my dad was talking last night, and he was, because my dad, he was like, in his day, son, he was like, man, in my day, because we always talk, that's my elder. He was like, people my age, he was like, he can remember people saying, God and the Messiah couldn't be black. And these were Negro, blacks, and colored. He was like, they were saying God couldn't be black because black people so bad. And that's the mental slavery that he be talking about. And this is my dad. When I say my dad is ain't no that's no lovey-dovey. We have to come into agreement with the science. He's like, you got to prove everything. And so the level that I'm at now, he's like, man, there's no reason for Moors not to be under the auspices and under the leadership and under the organization. Why? Because I'm experienced in it, man. How we can come together and how we shouldn't go outside of ourselves. And the same thing that a lot of stuff, what happened with my dad when he was coming up in his academia, same thing with me. I told y'all, I had a European Jewish professor that told me, he was like, Noble, can we speak? Because they call me Noble because he's a Mason. And he was like, the difference from our people and your people is your people are the only people that'll let somebody that stepped on your neck educate you. And you think, and you and all your family think that stuff is true. He was like, isn't that amazing? And he was like, here you certified and qualified to not only teach it and speak of it, you contextualize it. You come from your perspective to show where all the science come from. And I'm like, and that's where I'm trying to get us to think. We must think. And I know it's going to take a little time. We've been miseducated and programmed all this time. And your own brothers and sisters is part of the problem too. But like I was saying, man, like I do a lot of stuff for other people. Like my organizations and my businesses are real. All my organizations are nonprofit. I do stuff for a lot of people just for what? Donations. Not for a price, no expensive price. I have donations, and the same thing you pay somebody for, I do for a donation. Why? Because I'm qualified. Like my Burning Bush Tabernacle, my Science Temple and School, with my nonprofit. What we do, we go into schools, churches, anywhere our people at that don't have the funds, especially the hardest hit funds. In the schools, like for instance, I'm in Arizona, I done did lectures and teachings at schools where a lot of people won't go do it because they don't have the funds in their budget. And I go do it under my organization. And I get a small grant, it's called the Hardest Hit Fund. So what they'll do, they'll pay me or they'll give me a donation. It's called in-kind service. So what they'll do, they'll give me a certain fee for my time, and we draw the rest up as in-kind service. And most Moors don't even understand that because they don't do community work. But under my teachings, what I've done, metaphysics, we taught local, state, and federal law, kinetic and adapt science, alchemy, real alchemy, not nothing dealing with no metals. You are the alchemy. Alchemy is perfecting yourself. Understanding, connect to yourself to the stars. Healthy eating and living. History, which is our story. Nonprofit, small business startup. You got to understand and do business. So I want to touch on those things. Like if you see my books, I'm an author as well. I have real clients. We do workouts, our More Power workouts. These are the things that we do. And a lot of my organizations, what I do, man, is not with Moors. And it's okay. Because like I tell people, if it's business, I don't care what nationality is. Business is business. And if you're righteous, you're righteous. That's what I tell people. Oh, you're not going to do business, but you're going to go to work for somebody else. And the great God, Allah, has have given you a skill of education and wisdom, and you're not going to be able to extract something from yourself. I'm not the fool. That person that just think their whole living in existence is a 9 to 5 is the fool. Not saying a 9 to 5 is bad, because it's not. That's sustainability. I have a couple of 9 to 5s. Hell, we do our own t-shirts and things. And like I said, I do real business, man. And a lot of it is not with Moors, I promise you. And then a lot of the things that I'm proud, a lot of the A. Jelani is in my brother's name. That's passed. That's in the hands of Allah right now. Akil Jelani Goodman Bey. And then something that I'm very proud of is my financial literacy and nonprofit business startup. And I have workers that I work with, co-workers that I work with. I've helped them set up their organization, profit or non-for-profit, no matter what it is, for they won't get hustled by some scam artist. I'm telling you, I've done helped so many empresses save $4,000 from getting hustled by some goofball. Talk about he finna put them on some Duns and Bradstreet and give them a trade line for $50,000 to $300,000 for $4,000. I said that's a lie and a fraud. It don't cost nothing to get on no Duns and Bradstreet. Duns and Bradstreet, that's a credit reporter. That's free. Now, if you want an EIN, I'll show you how to do an EIN right online, right now. That's why I said I'm a real organization. When you're a real organization, we've gotten grants to do taxes in the community. I'm telling you, man, y'all know I'm telling the truth. That's what we are. My business, my organization, we are a community organization. I'm telling you, we get stuff from the state. We get all type of things. And once we have our brick and mortar, you got to understand the power of what we're doing and being a business. You got to understand it. You're going to let everybody take the advantage of it, all these churches and all that, and talk about it, and they're doing things righteously, but we just going to sit and talk about this and that and other and have a pissing contest. Well, not me and my people, not the Burning Bush Tabernacle, Moore Science Temple and School. We're gonna go and let those people that just want to bicker, let them have that. That ain't what this is about, Moors. I promise you. I promise you this. What I'm doing, I'm using the internet as a network to show people like, look, man, once we get the page and everything set up, we're using this to draw people in. We're courting each other. Just like if you was going to college and learning anything online. We got to get into technology. If you're not physically here, I'll tell Moors, you can be a student. That's why I'm courting you now. Once our web page is up, all members will be able to log on. And that's what this is about, man. This is about showing brothers and sisters like, man, we can do something. We can do the same thing these other organizations doing. How? By the law. The laws work for us. This ain't about nobody having no damn debates. Debating what? Debate what? Please don't especially don't debate no history when you're not going to give the literature and the science. So that's what I'm talking about, Moors, doing real work, doing research, teaching our children something so they can have something to compare to. And that's what this teaching is going to be about today. I'm going to give you something to compare to. You don't have to believe nothing that comes out of my mouth. What I want you to do is research. What I'm trying to do is open another chamber of your thinking. And I want you to be a free thinker. Just because you study at home don't mean nothing. I want you to be a free thinker. And if you're not a scholar, you should associate with a brother that's a scholar. I put the work in. I don't have any fake degrees. Business is business. I don't use the internet just to get donations from my people and live off of it. This is to build. I'm trying to show you all that we can build our temple how? Off donations, off charitable contributions. That's how, legally and lawfully. This is what I'm telling you. Everything that you did when you did with your company, with your organization, your nonprofit organization, it's a donation. Just like when you're part of a church and they have cookings and they sell dinners. Come on, man, it's tax exempt. It's raising money. That's like a building fund or a church fund or whatever the hell it is. And the same thing what we doing. What have we done? We've bought merchandise for our temple to give to our people for a charitable contribution. I'm telling you, man, y'all got to understand these laws and these tax codes so we can move on, so we can use our finances to build. And once we have a fight, then we can apply for extra things. I'm telling you, man, the only way you're going to get something is pull up your bootstraps. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this. I'm telling Moors, my goal is 100 Moors. Man, don't y'all know, man, Moors, every time Moors get their so-called income taxes back each year, they blow it. And I ask every Moor, just like I told y'all the story when I sat down with my empress and her king, and how she blew $5,000 a year for almost 10 years just on nothing. And I'm saying we do have the money. 100 Moors giving $100 a month, and then once a year. And then once a year, when we come to our meet and greet, we all give $1,000. $1,000. Once a year, man, we have anything we want. And now we got our grant writers and all our people applying for grants and loans that we don't have to give back to do work in the community. And now that we are a nonprofit, we can go in the schools. We can go in the schools and teach the baby history under our auspices. and have seventh hour. Where? At our place. And what? Get grants to do this. I'm telling you stuff that I already done. I'm telling you stuff that I know, man. And how somebody gonna talk about they're gonna teach your children more science and how what they're educated in. So what curriculum is a more science curriculum? Tell them to show you. Tell them to show you. Because yes, the history you've been stripped of. Once we teach the history, we got to teach finances and mathematics. I'm telling you, man, at a young age. But it's on us right now to have the blueprint. We can do this, man. I'm telling you, Moors, we have to trust something at one point. I hope you're not just here following me for whatever, because like I told y'all, in a minute we're going to be gone. We're going to have our meet and greet more in July, but this little thing happened, so we got to push it back. We are going to have it in Vegas, so we might do it in the winter if Moors want to do it in the winter, but we'll see. But Moors, we got the ability to support anything that we want. I promise you, Moors. And that's the only reason why I'm dear to this. Nothing's secret with me. It's sacred. Look at all these Moors that just collecting money and been doing things for years. And you say, okay, where's the temple? Where's the body? And if that's not their, how can I say it? And if that's not Allah's mission for them, I get it. But you can't say you teaching. And a teacher wants students. You would think, just like a grandmaster in martial arts, he wants students. I mean, what you gonna do with all that skill? What you gonna do with? You gonna die with all it? What you gonna die with all your riches? I'm $100 million man, and I just want to die with all my fun. I don't want to put none of my money to work for the stuff and the aspiration that Allah has for me to build my people up. I don't want to do that. And see, that's what I'll be saying. What is a person's mission? We're dealing with a lot of entertainers, and that's lower, and that's the lower self. Oh, thanks for the donation, Noble. And that's the lower self. Oh yes, Cash App $KGB. Thank you very much. But that's the psyche of brothers. This is not a pissing contest. This is what brothers do. They follow people. And I'm like, this all you doing is follow somebody because somebody says something good? And you, especially about investments, you're not going to invest in something that you have no idea about. Especially when brothers talk about they investing in stock. Man, please show it. I know about all this. Just like in real estate, when people be getting you lying, man, it's certain laws of the land. Just like neighborhoods and communities, when people be talking about this, that, and the other, I say, when you have a house in a neighborhood, in a community that has taxes and things, state and local, man, stop lying to the people. It's certain laws of the land that's going to override things. You have to have things in other places where it's not a community. And y'all, if you don't know that, then that's your fault. And that's how Negroes get caught up, because a lie is not 100% lie. 95% what? Bull crap. 5% a little bit, or maybe even less. And I compare that to rat poison. The rat won't go to the poison if it's all garbage. The rat got to go to it for some reason to eat it. It got to be a little something in there that's attracting to the rat. Some type of manifestation, physical, mental, or taste. It got to be some type of manifestation to draw the rat to that garbage. And I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. And so all I'm telling more, this is not a disrespect to anyone. This should be light and illuminating. I told y'all, in a whole bunch of darkness, a little bit of light can illuminate anything, Moors. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not coming from no prejudice perspective. I'm telling you, you've been lied to, and your own brothers and sisters is part of the lie. And if you're going to follow this more science, you should want to follow real scholarship, real law, international, local, state, federal, real spirituality, so we can build ourselves up and take this to the places where it matters. I'm telling you, man. Understand the religious laws protect us, man. Understand the religious laws protect us. Understand about giving to our charitable contribution, our religious organization, because the Moorish Science Temple is a religious and civic organization. It was civic first. You got to understand, if you understand international law, with these Negroes saying they sheiks, to be a complete 5 of a 5th, you must have your nationality and spirituality, and our spirituality is our religion. Why? Because our religion is Islamism. What is Islamism? Connecting God and man as one. If you ain't rocking with that, that's true shirk. You on some Al-Islam or some Christianity stuff, believing in some God outside yourself. And you know I'm telling the truth. No disrespect to nobody else. It's just what it is, man. So let's get with this Moorish American prayer, man, and let's get with this science and how, and we're going to show you, I'm going to give you something to compare to. Because that's what a philosopher and a theosophist does. The truth has no size. We got to deal with the damn evidence. How are you going to defend something and defend yourself and you have no evidence? Somebody going to come one-sided. So you going to believe that? One-sided is like the theory. Oh, I saw that. Okay, but you might not have saw it. You have no proof. You have nothing else to compare to. And that's what Negroes get on when they think they know something. I said, man, where you get that garbage from? Or do you got that westernized Eurocentric propaganda? Just because something in the book, you think something written means something. And I tell y'all the book, The African by Colander. And I told y'all when you read that book, it shows you that Alex Haley plagiarized every damn thing. The roots, everything. Kunta Kinte wasn't his damn ancestor. That's a lie. Just like Kwanzaa, garbage. That ain't no Black African religion. That was made up by Ron Karinga. Look who Ron Karinga was, a COINTELPRO. Y'all got to research stuff, man. I'm telling you. You don't get mad at me. So if you're a scholar, you're going to agree and rock with what I'm saying because it's just scholarship. When we talk about peer-reviewed scholarly research, you ain't got to like me. But the science trumped that garbage. So let's deal with it. Our Moorish American prayer. Our prophet warns all Muslims, governors ordered to read the proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or in the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequences. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I have to put my 2 cents more because I'm in the flesh. Health and wealth, because that's important to me. And when these principles are violated, Moors, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, you got to understand that's esoterically and exoterically, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. You got to remember, Moors, for myself in Moorish science, Islam is peace. When I say Allah, that represents man. You got to understand this. If you're a prophet and an angel, you got to understand the higher science where I come from. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where either prophet found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. What I'm saying, man, our Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the first one to put it in layman terms, to tell us our nationalities is Moorish American. Point blank, was our Prophet Noble Drew Ali the first Moorish American? Absolutely not. Was our Prophet Noble Drew Ali the first Moorish American? Absolutely not. But our Prophet Noble Drew Ali was the first person to put it in layman terms, to tell these Negro, blacks of color, and these misnomer Latino, Mexicans, and Hispanics that you are a Moorish American. And your race is Asiatic. And your status is free white. Our prophet was the first one to put that in layman terms and bring that back to Americas. I'm telling you, man, we got to understand that. And our problem, Negroes, always want to diss our own kind. And that's why we get caught up in this Eurocentric propaganda where we're going to demonstrate. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine pleas to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways by the order of our prophet Noble Drew Ali, our Moorish American prayer. Now, once again, when I talk about tradition and what's law, it's a difference. Tradition don't mean nothing if it ain't word. Just like when I talk about our Moorish Salat, you can do a lot of stuff and not understand what you're doing. And then when you really read your Quran, you're doing stuff that the slave would do. And when the slave go out for those hours, that's the time for you to in your relaxed state. If you're God, you ain't listening. So when Moors call themselves sheiks and they talk about turn to the east, and if you're an adept, you don't got to turn to no damn east. That's some outward symbology. The closest place to Allah is in the heart. Y'all know that. So I don't give a damn what place you turn around. North, south, east, west. I'm going to travel all those areas. Can't get me caught up in them dumb European catchphrases. The closest place to meet Allah is in the heart. And if you righteous, you righteous. I'm not under no outside or no disrespect, no man-made directions. Because man is a lie. Y'all know it. I keep telling y'all, when I show y'all original maps, Negroes was all lost and backwards. Y'all know this from history. If you say you understand geographical landmass, you got to know this. You know what I'm saying is valid. That's why they called us Berber pirates or Kosar pirates. Why? Because we were the seafarers. That's why you have movies Lost at Sea. Y'all don't get this, man. Y'all missing what I'm telling you. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam, man. So, one thing, man, you know, Moors, one thing, and please, Moors, y'all talk to me. A lot of times, man, when brothers follow things and when they show, the first thing I always ask more is, please don't show me nothing unless it's scholarship. Because if it's somebody just talking, and especially when they come from a westernized perspective, I'm going to destroy it. And it's not being big-headed. Why? Because, man, I've been in academia to where the European try to throw all this garbage that Negroes throw. And that's why I said I graduated with honors. They didn't like my candor. I proved that all that Eurocentric and that pseudo academia was garbage. I promise you, no disrespect to nobody. Man, we don't have things called the Scholars Roundtable, and when we have lectures on campus, man, I keep telling Moors, don't y'all know when Muhammad Ali was banned from boxing under the Nation of Islam because there was a nonprofit, how you think Muhammad Ali was going on college campuses speaking? A lot of people don't understand what I'm saying because they're just not enlightened to things. They think everything is fake. But who gives a damn? That's why I said I'm different. So, when brothers will take something, and then that's all they get, especially when it's from a European, westernized perspective, and they start speaking on it. And then they'll turn around and start talking about Masonry and Illuminati and this, that, and the other. Well, I say, well, the person you talk about, the European, I don't care if you're black or white. I don't give a damn what color your hue is. You want to use those class labels, black or white? I don't care what color your hue is. If you're under some westernized masonry, man, look, man, if you adapt a sheet, our science is higher than that. And you know European masonry, Negro masonry, all that. One of the masonry tricks and Illuminati tricks is to have you believe in a lie. A westernized thought process, which we call pseudo-academia. You can ask my parents right in the room. I proved it. They ain't like my candor. I said, this is all pseudo-academia. I got a professor that's a Jewish professor. I'm telling you. That's a judge out here in Arizona. I'm telling you. He's a potentate in masonry. Everything I said, he like, everything you're saying is valid, and we cool. I'm telling you. I'm gonna have him go live with me one day, have y'all laughing. He was like, the Negro, black, and color, the only one that don't know their rich history. I guarantee you. It was like, you guys give all your science to the Turks. He's like, you are the Turks? And I'm telling you, when I show y'all stuff in the Library of Congress, I do over and over. You're gonna let somebody give you your science away and scare you out of your science. So, we're going to talk about Zechariah. No, before I even do that, remember yesterday I was telling you about the 13th tribe. The other book I was telling you, Henry Ford wrote, is the International Jew. You need to get this. I'm telling you, I have them. Remember, when you a member, it's a donation. We have a full library. And you can see what they say. You can see what they say about the Russian, or the Jew, and the German, or the European Jew. You ain't got to listen to me. And like I said, I come from scholarship. And you can see what the Tavistock Institute was talking about. And even when Moors be like reading stuff like, behold a pale horse. And I say, man, I hear you. But I say, the thing you got to understand, Moors, listen to me when I say a lot of stuff is locked up in spookism. Y'all don't get it, man. To draw you off of who you are, your power. They see a lot of people want to relate stuff to some damn aliens. And that's what we're finna talk about. Ain't no damn alien. You are the alien. I told you, if you don't understand SO and XO and analogy and parable and symbology, you would think something literal means literal. You would think of ancient paintings back in the day when you see those Coptic Christian pictures with like a comet with a person in it, you would think that's something literal, and you won't understand that astrological meaning of life because you're not understanding the constellations. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. And you're missing the whole symbology because you're not illuminated. Just like when a lot of Negroes think the Baphomet is something scary. I say, how does Baphomet is something scary? You call yourself something chic, and you should understand the Ka and Ba of Allah. You should understand that the Baphomet is written Kabbalistically. Temp Hob Abs Abba. You should understand this, man. It's your science. So let's deal with this Zachariah Sitchins pseudoscience, where somebody sent me some about with some brother, and like I said, I don't like to call names. I said some brother, they were like, oh, this heavy, and one of my nobles, he was like, Noble, man, he was like, why don't you do debates and stuff? He was like, you would destroy all this stuff. I said, it ain't about that with me. I said, scholarship is nothing to debate. That's characters. And that's people that don't research. You call yourself a scholar, but man, I can give you the history and things and just show you from scholarship where what you think is real is nothing because you got something from some European. And this person is a European Mason under Illuminati that y'all like to talk about and then want to deal with their science. I'm like, something is crazy. Something is crazy. And so you don't got to believe in me. Their book tell you, their opinions tell you. And that's why I'm saying, you ain't got to believe nothing I say in their books and everything it tells you. I mean, so let's deal with this Zachariah Sitchins that a lot of these brothers want to run to. And I'm going to show you how all that's garbage based on their opinion and people around them. And just if you're a researcher, if you're a real scholar, that's how you know people are garbage. That's how you know people just do word of mouth. All that stuff on TV, all these TV shows, when they be talking about Anunnaki and some Sumerian text, I say, you got that from Zachariah Sitchins. And they know they have. And the only reason why they throw that to you because you don't have all the science. I got all that. I told y'all, on the college campus, I had one of my students in class. He used to always try to bring that. And he was like, and our professor like, if you're going to bring that, you better prove it from peer-reviewed scholarly research. Because Brother Bay is gonna, we got, if a person don't agree with that in scholarship, we gotta, hey, rebuttal on scholarship. This real, man. And so I said, I showed that Zachariah Sitchins wasn't no, how can I say it? Studying no linguistics and no ancient Sumerian texts. This man had an engineer degree. Man, don't you know how hard it is to study our language? You got to have years and years to understand that and be able to interpret these texts. I'm telling you. And then you got these Negroes, especially Moors, and all these brothers that call themselves some Egyptologists, quoting some, no disrespect again, some Zachariah Sitchins that's part of the Illuminati, all that they like to talk about, and then want to put that on the pedestal. So let's deal with it. I can show y'all the stones, everything, all misquoted. If you're familiar with the writings of Zachariah Sitchins Moors about the return of Planet X, what they all talking about, and with the word Nibiru or Nibro, Nibiru, and according to languages of proclaimed scholar Zachariah Sitchins. And see, and this is the thing that always ticks me off to the highest ticktivity, is when Negroes always put, no disrespect, a European on a higher plateau than their own brother that have the same degrees as them just because you don't like them or something that they said you don't like, but you won't challenge nobody else. But we always put our own brothers and sisters down. And that's what I disrespect and I do not like about Negroes and Moors or whoever the hell they think they are. That's the problem that I have with these goofball Negroes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. We believe this stuff, and their own teachers will tell you that it's pseudo-academia. They'll tell you pseudo is fake. These people that Rhodes Scholar, that wasn't for you. Where they get their education from? You. I'm telling you, man. The Sumerians knew of an extra planet. Now listen. he talk about, according to Zachariah Stitchins, he talk about the Sumerians knew, excuse me, of an extra planet beyond Pluto. Y'all know that, right? Ain't that what it say? I'm telling you, this is what no disrespect. This is what one of my fellow students did in class, and I had to rebuttal, and I destroyed it. No disrespect. But this extra planet was called Nerebro or Nebro. That's what they say. And then Sitchins goes on with the pseudo stuff to claim that Nebro passes through our solar system every 3,600 years. And some believe in that theory. That's a theory. A theory just like, man, rear ends. Everybody got a damn theory. It might rain tomorrow. It might not. Theory. If you can't base nothing off no facts or nothing, theory. When I talk about subjective and objective, it's just what it is, man. Oh, somebody put on a suit and get to telling you a whole bunch of garbage and bring up some ancient texts that you don't know what they say, and he don't know what they say because he ain't been with the natives. He don't have no education in linguistics and studying this ancient literature, and he just going to come and tell you, you just woke up and know what this means. Man, that's garbage. That's garbage, Morris. That's garbage, and you know what it is. They believe in this as Planet X, and the name given to the planet that is allegedly located within our solar system, but beyond Pluto. And returning Planet X hypothesis believe the return of the wandering planet will bring cosmetic consequences to the earth. Like a lot of stuff gonna happen. Man, all that's spookism. Man, I told y'all about the earth and the world. It never was a time when man was not. The world shifts. I'm telling you, the world shifts. They get you caught up in all this garbage because they don't want you to know that you have the power. You ain't gonna become no more. You already are more. You already are more noble. It ain't about you becoming a damn thing. That's why I said Moors need to be educated, man, on the national and the civil side of it. I teach from a righteous place. Noble, you already are more. You are what your foremothers and forefathers are. Your religion is what your religion is. That's why I said it's one nationality, many cultures. Noble, you are a Moor. Once you proclaim, declare, and have due process, this is what I teach. And when you annex your Bay and the L to all your name and everything, I have to teach this, man. When we take it to the war courts, that's different. I'm telling you, Moor, a lot of stuff you've been lied to. I'm telling you, a lot of stuff you've been lied to, Noble. But let me finish. Now, do you think stitching correct? Which a lot of Negroes think. And then I say, okay, when you're talking all this, prove it. They can't. And I say, all the stuff I did years ago, man, with professors, with no disrespect, with European Albans that thought they knew something based on what they believed. But do you think stitching is correct? Is Nerebro or Nebro a 12th planet that passes through our solar system every 3,600 years? And did the Sumerians know this? And unfortunately, for those that think this is true, all these Negroes that don't research, and when they read one thing and don't cross-reference it and make sure things is valid, because I don't give a damn if something in the book, that does not mean it's valid. But the answer to each question is no. How do I know this? When you look at the cuneiform record, it's a cuneiform record in such text as the one, I'm going to show you the left, the astronomical text known as the Mulapin, M-U-L-A-P-I-N, the plug star. I'm telling you. And you can see this. Nebro, you can see it. It isn't a single text in the entire cuneiform record, Moors, that has Nerebro as a planet beyond Pluto. I promise you. Connects Nerebro with Anaki. Has Nerebro cycling through our solar system every 3,600 years. I'm telling you, man, all garbage. All garbage. I promise you. I promise you. All garbage. All garbage. And that's what all I'll be saying about Eurocentric and Negro propaganda. And I'll be like, where y'all getting this garbage from? I'm like, man, that could easily be rebutted. How? From scholarship. That's how. Not no coming from no biased place or upset. They're pen, Morris. Come on. Watch. Let me show you how I show you how a lot of Moors and these brothers that call themselves Egyptologists, and I say, what the hell is an Egyptologist? So anyway, just like when these Moors try to talk about the Hebrew this and the Egyptian this, a lot of stuff they don't read. Like when you read the story of Anaseph and Joseph, one of the books that was taken out the scriptures, you will understand that. But then, what I don't understand, Moors, is when they set tripping on things, because in the hieroglyphics, writing the hieroglyphics, don't you understand, you had 2 Hebrew pharaohs. If Negroes talk about the Egyptologists, you can read it right in the hieroglyphs, Sivatoth and Sabatos. If you got their alphabet and they signs and they symbols, then you can piece together their alphabet. That's how I fact check these liars that they just come with that garbage with y'all. And I say, man, it's easy to fact check. How? I get the alphabet and show you and put it together and show you that you've been lied to. I'm telling you, man, by somebody that's just talking. You got to have something to compare to. You got to. So let's deal with this Zechariah Sitchins, inventing the Rebro and the Anunnaki lie on behalf of his secret groups. So you can't be mad at me. Let me tell y'all something, Morris. It's a place where I do a lot of research at. It's called the, you're welcome, Empress. Let me tell y'all something. It's a place in California called the Philosophical Research Society. I do a lot of research there. Like I told y'all, man, I have real degrees from universities. So a lot of professors were European Masons, but I used to wear my fez every day, and I've been accepted in a lot of different houses of thought, and I have membership in places. And I'm telling you, they all know what I'm talking about. They all represent what I'm saying from scholarship. I promise you. They all study from the same place I study. When I talk about the royal libraries and the royal archives and the Library of Congress, when I show you peer-reviewed scholarly research, when you get to a higher level, man, they don't disagree with what I'm saying. I'm telling you. And it's just what it is. But remember Zechariah Sitchins, talk about that 12th planet? Remember all that? And they talk about aliens and UFOs, all that garbage, right? And this is the thing what I tell people. The ancient myths about Nebro as Planet X and alien visitors of the Anunnaki, all garbage, man. Because they know they want to take the power from you and tell you that it ain't about you. You know? So when he talk about the ancient Sumerian tablet, the first recorded civilization on Earth, a lot of stuff when they talking about these things, and I got a lot of the original plates and things in my storage that I keep, but I take pictures of a lot of stuff. And I'm gonna talk about the ancient languages and the scholarship lie. When I talk about give you something to compare to, and then you can go ask them brothers that made them videos, and everybody be talking about, oh, this so heavy, this so heavy. And I'm like, how can a brother say he an Egyptologist or whatever, and you coming from a westernized European perspective? That ain't heavy, that's garbage. I see where you got your scholarship from. European westernized Mason, Zechariah Sitchins. I'm telling you, it's too easy to destroy. Stitchins self-introduced on the back of his books and on the internet. He always tried to talk about that he graduated in ancient languages and history, but that ain't true. He ain't graduating no ancient history and religion. I'm telling you, ancient languages and history. My degree is from Grand Canyon University. It's in first century history and religion and linguistics. And then I was able to cross study with a lot of my professors that was European and Jewish Masons that let me come into their laboratories. I'm telling you, because I'm righteous and I come from love. It ain't about that. I'm telling you, man. And when I was coming on campus with my fez on, I was just coming illuminating it. And I was introduced to a lot of things. See, Sitchins graduated from the London School of Economics. He graduated from the School of Economics. That means money. From the University of London, majoring in economic history. See? Research it. And when he wrote that science or that pseudo garbage, it was absolutely no chance of correctly translating ancient Sumer without thoroughly studying this language and the ancient tablets for a long time. And surely not studying getting no economics degree. How you study economics and get no advanced degrees, and you talk about you done study some Samaritan text. Man, stop lying. Just like them Negroes talk about they some Egyptologists, talk about they know this, the Metanetter. And when I break it down, and when I ask these Negroes about the Hebrew pharaohs, you can research in a hieroglyph, they don't know what I'm talking about. You got people on European, people that disputed what he was saying. Excuse me. I mean, you had European professors and things, PhDs in Hebrew and ancient Semitic languages, you know. They even wrote Sitchins in these times, you know, to be like, to let's see if this real or not. And can you show where your history came from or your science? But he died. And he's not a scholar of ancient languages. And that's why I be telling nobles and Moors, like, why would you just let somebody tell you this? Somebody that's always lied to you, and I can show you that what they part of. And I show you that European masonry, Negro masonry, one part of the problems they'd show you is to have you believe in a lie. Just like if your dad, a Negro mason, he ain't going to ask him who the father of civilization is. He ain't going to tell you. I'm telling you, because the last thing what a Negro Mason or a European Mason know is the first thing that Moors know. The first thing that you know. I'm telling you. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. He not no scholar of no ancient languages. And what he written in his books could neither pass peer review. Remember I tell y'all about peer review? When I did things on college campuses, I told y'all they did not like my candor. My dad would tell you, I have professors that's like, oh, I don't like your candor. I said, I don't like your candor. I'm not European, blah, blah, blah. But I said, I know process. I used to write their managers, and then their boss would write me back, was like, oh, you don't have to take the class no more. You passed, you got an A, and I graduated with honors. Because I proved my point from scholarship. I don't care if you don't like what I'm saying. I ain't here for likes. It don't make me no different if you like me. I ain't here for no popularity contest. But none of those books could pass peer review. And that's what I be telling these Negroes. So how can you say your brother or your so-called Negro that's be on these television shows using Zachariah Sitchin as a reference, talking this scholarship, and you Negroes talk about, that's you a scholar, you the best scholar I had. And none of that stuff could pass no peer review scholarly research. None of the books could pass peer review. Peer review. Now go ask your scholar, these Negroes, y'all talk about scholars. None of that garbage that Zachariah Sitchin got, that these so-called Negroes, Egyptologists, these brothers that be making these shows and all y'all be on following, none of that stuff can pass peer review. None of it. None of it. Are y'all listening to what I'm saying? None of it. So that's what I'll be saying. I'm like, I hear what you're saying. I'll just sit and wait them talk. And then I say, are you a scholar? Yes. What type of scholar are you? So then you know about peer review. Bam. Peer review what? You can't pass no garbage if it ain't peer reviewed by your peers. It's garbage and you know it. And that garbage ain't peer reviewed. So how you gonna rock with some Negro that makes some video and millions and thousands of more is on there? Oh yeah, this. Oh yeah, Zachariah Sitchin. And none of that garbage can pass no peer review. Talk to me. Somebody talk to me. See? None of that can pass a peer review, nor is it informed by factual data from the primary sources. None of it. None of it. None of it. And when Zachariah Sitchin and a lot of Moors and whoever come with that pseudo stuff, like the Sumerians believed there were 12 planets, the Anak and the Anunnaki were space travelers, and Nibiru was the supposed 12th planet, he is simply fabricating the data. I'm telling you. And it's not a question of how he translates the text. The issues is these ideas don't exist in any cuneiform text. Any cuneiform text at all. I'm telling you. So to produce fake scientific research results and to invent another most entertaining ancient astronaut stories. This can have different motivations. See, did Sitchins just try to copy Eric von Daniken's success by abusing the Sumerian sources that are only really known and debunkable by a handful of people on this planet? I'm telling you, that's how they get y'all caught up in believing in pseudoscience. And then there's no disrespect. These Europeans, Masons, or whatever, they come up with this garbage. When you talk about this, when you dive into the London school, man, I'm telling you, it's a lot of stuff y'all don't know. The city of London. See, when I show y'all stuff, man, when I talk about Mason charters, Negroes that's under that European Masonry, y'all know what I'm talking about. The London schools of economics, where Sitchins studied. It takes in the world of the powerful global elite, right? The dark cable of the Illuminati, the top Freemason Zionists. You ain't got to listen to me. This is simple research. This is simple research. Y'all should be destroying all them Negroes come with that pseudo academia, getting y'all caught up in spookism. Talk about got on them shows and all this for entertainment. Talking that Anunnaki garbage. Talk about something, and your major sources come from Zachariah Sitchin. Garbage that couldn't even pass peer review. Couldn't even be used for poo diddly. You would fail out of ancient history class. You would fail out of ancient history class with that garbage. Any Negro came with quote Zachariah Sitchin, you would be failed out of ancient history. Samaritan text. You would fail. But the London School of Economics is a part of the City of London, the financial and factual power center of the Western world, owned and ruled by, Negroes always want to talk about the Illuminati, faction of the Rothschilds, and serves as the talent factory for their economic leader. So here you go to their schools and all this. You think this person going to come out with something that's going to help you? No, it's to draw you off the breadcrumbs, to believe in some alien garbage. And you can see, if not all of these students are initiated on various degrees of the local Masonic lodges, their secret knowledge, their occult rituals, and apocalyptic belief system. You see what I'm saying? So the goal of the Nerebru and Anunnaki lie, what these Negroes come with, talk about, it's just hard for me for y'all to follow this stuff. With these brothers be on these shows, talk about they some Egyptologists, and they quote some Zachariah Sitchin. And then you say this person is a scholar, and none of that stuff can be used in scholarship because it's garbage. It's not peer reviewed. I'm telling you. All these organizations believe in a coming political messiah that will ruin the planned world government. I'm telling y'all. If you combine all this stuff and aspects of their brotherhood belief system, Zachariah Sitchins come from right out of this tradition. The apocalyptic planet Nerebru, the Anunnaki, the genetic masters and gods of mankind. You see how this garbage, and I can show you research that the black man, no disrespect, is the American, the first Americans, all through history. And they want to try to act like it's some damn alien. That's garbage, Moors. All them pictures they tried to come with, I'll explain them. The esoteric meaning, the exo, show them symbology and how they try to take some inside and try to explain it outside. Destroyed that garbage. It's lies. I'm telling you. And it's clear by injecting the tale of Negro into the UFO and the New Age communities. I mean, it's clear what it's all about. I mean, I can show y'all Zachariah Sitchin and John Maxwell, Masonic handshakes, when Negroes always like to read stuff. Like, I got the Behold the Pale Horse. I got all that. But Negroes don't understand. You got to read deeper than the science. You got to continue to peel stuff back. And that's what Negroes don't do. They don't continue to peel. You right on the damn surface. You right on the surface. And that's what I be laughing at Moors. I'm like, man, you have no idea of what you're talking about. Why? Because you're not elite. That's what I'm telling you. And you getting all this propaganda and all this. I can show you Zachariah Sitchin free, all this stuff. It's there. Why? Because one of the Illuminati tricks and the Masonic tricks is to put it right in your face. The hell you believe in you think everything is fake. I'm telling you, man. So that's all it is, Morris. That's all it is. Right? Y'all know what I'm talking about, man. Hebrew doesn't occur in no cuneiform text. That's all you got to do, man. Because I'm telling you, scholarly material on the cuneiform astronomy is abundant, meaning you can find it. But specific treatments more of Nerebru are rare. I'm telling you. And the last treatment of Nerebro in a journal article, you research this in the English language, was in 1961. Because I told y'all, just like a lot of stuff, it wasn't written in the English language. Just like a lot of stuff when Hitler was telling people what it was and who was the Israelite and God's people. I mean, just like a lot of stuff was written in a different language. Just like Sheikh Diab. A lot of his writing was written in Latin until John Henry Clark transliterated it to English. And it was co-authored by the great Sumerian scholar, Bino Landesberger. He was a great Samaritan scholar, editor of the Sumerio-Akkadian lexical list. And that's why I'm telling y'all, once I get the lexicons, all I do is prove people lying. And once I get the lexicon of the language, it's a wrap. And he shows that with Zechariah Sitchins' abuse of the Sumerio-Akkadian vocabulary. Because they think we're not going to get access to the research, just like the author of the Book of the Mormon. I told you, the European, he checked out the book of the Hebrews. All I tell you who you are, man. I'm telling you. And I can get deep in this and prove it, because this is a lecture I did. I broke all this down, man. You know, on campus, gave the references, everything. You know. But they deal directly with the subject, and a recent German article in the 1990 does likewise about the science. All of these articles were written well after the cuneiform documents. But then I also prove how often and where does the word Nerebru occur in the cuneiform text, and what does the word mean, and is there an astronomical context for the word in any of its occurrences? I proved all that. And fortunately, more for scholars and other interested parties, truth seekers like myself, where we don't let these Negroes get us in that Eurocentric propaganda, that garbage, the work of studies, and above what I showed y'all when we talk about the monumental, when we talk about the Assyrian dictionary. You know, when you can prove things, and when you compile all the places where the word Nerebro and related forms of the word occur in the extant tablets. And when you look at the CAD, when you look at the CAD, the CAD entry in volume N-2, page 145 to 147, it tells us right off the top, Moors, that the word has a variety of meanings, and all related to the idea, Moors, of crossing or being some sort of crossing marker or crossing point. And only a minority of cases, those references, Moors, in astronomical text, does the word relate to an astronomical body? I'm telling you. And I'm going to give you references in the astronomical text. The general meaning of occurrences outside astronomical text. Word meaning, of course. It is determined by context. When I tell Moors, you must understand the context of situations and phrase and dispensations to more technically and properly transliterate as Neberu, N-E with a hind over it, B-E-R-U, and it can mean, I have underlined these forms when I talk about explaining things in the lecture. I gave out all the documents and the pages where I came from. So as I was researching, I gave the peer-reviewed scholarly research so they can follow as I'm going. When I talk about place of crossing or the crossing fee, remember in the Gilgamesh epic, remember I told y'all the story of Gilgamesh? When I told y'all, man, it's a lot of stuff that occurred before then, and you must read the stuff. Don't get caught up in stories, Moors. It's stuff older and stuff come from places. So when I talk about in the Gilgamesh epic, the Gilgamesh Moors, the Gilgamesh epic, when we talk about that, when you read the line, remarkably similar to the one of the Beatitudes in the Sermon on the Mount, right? Straight in the crossing point. Nebru, what? A gateway. And a narrow is the way that leads to it, right? See this? A geographical name. In one Sumero-Akkadian text, a village is named Nebradi. Nebradi Asher. N-E or Nebar. Nebar-T Asher. N-E-BARTI-ASH-SHUR, which is a crossing point of what? Assur. Which is a crossing point of Assur. Are y'all rocking with me? I'm showing y'all, man, I'm removing the veil. I done this plenty times, and I'm just giving y'all elementary removing the veil. I'm gonna take it way higher to the third heaven when you become a student. Another text dealing with the fees for a boatman who ferries people across the water. Notes that the passenger paid shigel kaspum, or shah nebritum, SHIQILKASPUM, or SHANEBIRITIM, silver for the crossing fees. I hope y'all following me, man. Ferry, FERRY, FORD, ferry boat, act of, ferrying. I told you, man, you must study linguistics, a person to get you caught up in mistranslation. For example, man, on an Akkadian text, it refers to a military enemy. The Armenians, the ARAMEANES, Aramu or Aramu, Nakim, Ba Nabria, Gosh, Inistips. I might be pronunciating it wrong, but the Armenians were defiant and took upon a position at the entrance to the ford, the gate crossing. And another Moors, the Elamites, the ELAMITS, other writings are said to Ina Abnea, Nibru, Chadud, have cut off the ford, the bridge, the crossing way, or the river, Abani. Are y'all following me? So if you're a scholar, and if you don't have it, and if you can, when we say we do things in scholarship, you can you can give your how can I say it, your hypothesis to the root idea of Nerebru, word group, and its form as meaning something with respect to crossing, and it's clear, and I can move on from that. I'm telling you, man, Nerebru as referring to an astronomical body. Now the word Nerebru in astronomical text or astronomical context Moors, if one or if a person, a scholar, if they say they really studying and they doing the work, and if you want to be true to people, right? If one wants to know what Nebro as an astronomical body is, that person, that individual, that group of body is dependent on the text. Unless, like the Pseudo Zachariah Sitchins, you make up meanings to prop up a theory, and I don't give a damn about a theory. That person, that so-called scholar, you either let the text tell you what Nerebro is, or ignore the scribes in favor of the European Sitchins. No disrespect. I'm telling you. When you give cases like the Mesopotamian text, where the word occurs, and then in another instance, a Sumero-Akkadian translation, and then a brief translation, the page references to English translations of the Mesopotamian text in which the word occurs. And so the person, the researchers can check the context and study further. I'm telling you, man, this is the scholarship that we do. And then you got to understand how we discuss the occurrence in higher details. I'm telling you, man, this is too simple to do, Moors. And this work must be done. If somebody going to tell you that they're a scholar and bring some stuff to you and tell you that this is what it is, and you don't have nothing to compare it to. When we talk about the cuneiform sign for God, when we talk about that D, the D-I-N-G-I-R, the dinger, and so Neberu, N-E-B-E-R-U, may refer to a god, and recall the Sumerians and the Mesopotamians associated heavenly bodies with deities. Y'all got to know this. This is simple. And then when you superscribe the M-U-L, the cuneiform sign for star, and so Nerebru is a star, and the text tell us this point. It tell us right point blank. This simple, man. The subscripted numbers, the numerical reference number for Sumerian signs that can stand for more than one symbol. I'm telling you, when you understand language and signs and symbols, right, Morris? This is too simple, man. Right, Morris? Right, Morris? When you research the scholarly convention for keeping such overlapping signs distinct so the text can be read accurately, this is science, man. When you see Nebru is preceded by both the D and the M-U-L, and a lot of people don't even know what I'm talking about because they're not scientists. They're not scientists. And so it's referred to as a deity and a star. And as the pseudo Zechariah Sitchin himself, he noted Moors on various occasions. And this is a common knowledge to the ancient Near Eastern scholars. The ancient people often identified the stars or planets as what? Gods. As though the stars were defied or defied beings. Just like in our Moorish Quran, chapter 11, whether the verse 43, this Hebrew God is the deity of Allah. This one reason why even in the Old Testament, the sons of God are referred to as stars. I'm telling you, man, you got to understand the analogy and the symbology. That's in Job 38, 7 and 8. And when you got to understand that Nerebru was regarded as a planet, specifically Jupiter, but once as Mercury, a god, specifically Marduk, M-A-R-D-U-K, a star, distinguished from Jupiter. I'm telling you, man. And you're going to let these Negroes get you in this garbage. Misquoting science. Aliens. Okay. So if you confused, man, you ain't alone, because them Negroes confused too. When we talk about the trifold, the fourfold is you count Mercury. I'm telling you. Designation for Nerebru is why scholars of the cuneiform astronomy have not been able, Moors, to determine with certainty what exactly Nerebru is. You know? Nerebru is never identified as a planet beyond Pluto. And I can show you all this stuff on tablets and things, what words mean, the meaning, and the English translation. But I don't want to stay in all that. That'll take too long. You know? I provided information as to the most sources for the cuneiform astronomy are, and specifically any of the references. When I give commentary about Nerebru, I give you all that. I give you what are the cuneiform astronomical sources for our knowledge of the ancient Mesopotamian astronomy, and the cuneiform tablets that contain astronomical data or references to astronomical bodies. They back far as 1800 BC, and the dating of the cuneiform sources is secure. But this date, Morris, is nearly as old as Zechariah Sitchin's claim for the Sumerian astronomical knowledge. And the chronological map is due to the fact that Sitchin does not derive his views from the tablets themselves, but from him. He brings it up from his imaginative interpretation of. Zechariah Sitchins' entire cosmological, mythological, because that's all it is myth, system is based on 3 lines of arguments. The cylinder seal, the VA 243. Most people don't even know what I'm talking about, which I'll talk about later. But in a nutshell, Moors, the sun on the seal, which allegedly depicts the solar system, is not the sun based on a consistent cycle or the consistent system of the actual symbol or the actual sun symbol in the Sumerio-Mesopotamian seal and a artwork, Moors. And without a sun, Moors, you don't have a solar system. I'm telling you, you cannot have a solar system without a sun. Don't let nobody tell you that lie. And the claim that Nibiru lies beyond Pluto and is home of the Anunnaki, neither of which come from the actual text. I'm telling you. And the reconstruction of the formation of our solar system, accomplished by matching the names of gods and Sumerian creation, cosmological texts with planets, and then describing a cosmic billiards scenario, supposedly conveyed to us in these texts. I'm telling you. And the cuneiform astronomical text never lists any of these 5 planets, Moors. Man, I got a book. It's one of the ancient books. It's called the Saturn. Oh, I forget what it's called, but I'll show y'all. Man, the book is worth millions. And I'm going to show y'all a lot of stuff, man. You be lost because they hide it from us. But 7 if one counts sun and moon. So the cuneiform astronomical text never lists any more than 5 planets. 7 Moors, if one counts sun and moon, and actually tell us which planets are which gods in their mythology. And it should be to no surprise to any scholar that the Sumerian Akkadian planet god correlates, they disagree with the pseudo Zechariah Sitchins. And these fake Negro scholars, these Egyptologists that be making these videos with these so-called TV shows. The oldest cuneiform astronomical text, excuse me, Morris, deals with omens. And it's called by scholars in our field of scholarship, it's called the celestial divinations text. I'm telling you, I have them. It's called the celestial divination text. I'm telling you. And you're going to let some goofball more tell you that you don't need to be initiated. Ain't nothing wrong with being initiated if the brother that's initiating you is righteous. They just don't know nothing. But the detailed Moors nature of the omen text in circa 1800 BC does raise a caveat in the dating. But the oldest texts go back to 1800 BC. And it is apparent that the celestials divination and the astronomical observation did not come in existence at the time is already systemized. I'm telling you. And I can break that down for later rebuttals. But in regard to an older astronomy than 1800 BC, the researcher should be advised that all I'm saying, Morris, all I'm saying in our field of scholarship, in this field, I don't care if you don't like me. When we talk about peer-reviewed scholarly research, you got to agree with it or it ain't scholarship, or you basing it on your own understanding. That's arbitrary. But with scholars of this field, I don't care if you call yourself an Egyptologist. If you're a scholar of this field, man, it is the practice of observing the heavens is older than 1800. Not that the Sumerians could not have known how many planets there were. We have, in fact, Moors, full-blown astronomical tablets with Sumerian star names. Sumeria as a civilization predates 1800 BC. That's what I'm saying. But it's these very tablets that inform us that the Sumerians only knew of 5 planets, plus the sun and the moon is what I'm telling you. And they are not incomplete either, as though they forgot a few or left them off the planet or the tablets, Moors. We talk about the Mulapin, the Mulapin. It's a complete astronomical cycle of observations. What it is a compendium of Mesopotamian astronomy. But on a specific science, Moors, and on a specific sources, thank for the donation, Moors. Thank for the donation. But as experts in this science, in the Mesopotamian astronomy, the three texts, it categorized the interest of the Babylonian astronomy before 500 BC, as well as the level of penetration into the astronomical phenomena attaining in that period or that dispensation. And these three texts are Enuma, Anu, Enil, Enuma, Anu, Enlil, which is not the same as Enuma Elish. It's not the same as Enuma Elish. I destroyed that on college campus when I illuminated that. The three stars, well, then you got the three stars each. You got the three stars each. The tablets, better known as the astrolabes, the astrolabes, and the mulapin, the mulapin. I'm telling you. And the first of these has little bearing on the Nerebru matter. And when we discuss this Nerebru for a little second, what we're going to talk about, you also need to look at the Enuma Elish tablet, the fifth, the Enuma Elish, the tablet, the fifth version, which though is not an astronomical text, but it does mention Nerebru. I'm telling you, man. And the Enuma, Anu, Enel, this tablet mathematically calculates the duration of the lunar visibility throughout a 30-day equinoctial month. And since the length of night changes from month to month, the Babylonians also devised a method of mathematical calculation, lunar visibility for any of the year. I told y'all, Moors, numbers and alphabets don't lie. I'm telling you. I keep trying to tell y'all, the stars and the astrological signs don't lie. You think a person can't find their way from the stars? And when I tell y'all everything in the astrological signs is in your physical body, and every constellation have 3 deacons, and you don't know what I'm talking about. The stars each, or the astrolabe. See, when you, rather than a concern with lunar visibility, Moors, the astrolabes are concerned with the variation in length of daylight throughout the year. And the main context, Moors, of the astrolabes is a fixed star calendar in which the month of a heliacal it rises, and they are given for the 3 fixed stars in each of the 12 months in a Shematic year. You hear what I said? Every constellation have 3 deacons. Did you hear what I just said earlier? Risings are given for 3 fixed stars in each of the 12 months in a Shematic year. So what am I saying? Every constellation have 3 deacons. Y'all ain't listening. Hence the 3 stars each named for the tablets. And in order, or in other words, what I'm saying, Moors, the 3 fixed stars were observed each month as to the time of their appearance over the horizon just prior to the sun's disappearance. I'm telling you. These stars were further assigned to 3 paths in the sky. Name what? For the 3 great gods, Anu, Anu, Enil, Enlil, and Ea or Ea. The paths were defined with respect to the eastern horizon and represented Moors areas of the sky in which one sees the stars rise in seasonal regularity. What you mean? We know this is going to happen when we talk about esoteric and exoteric. One of the chief differences between them and the planets, and when you attempt to place the stars in the sky and to describe their cyclical or their motion, return to their place, accounts for the modern title, what? Astrolabe. I'm telling you, I can show y'all these diagrams. I did all of, I'm just pulling up stuff when I did the lectures. I had to show diagrams, but you probably can't see it on here, you know, but I had to prove my point, you know, and I have no problem doing that. You know, I have no problem with giving the science. I say I deal with the science. I know the theory. I hear the theory, but I ain't rocking with nobody theory. I know what Trump's theory, Moors, Islam. Just like, man, look, watch this. When I take the circle, and then when I get north, south, east, west on the side, now watch this, and I put Enel, a line, Anu, a line, and EA, right? So I got those three areas in the circle. And one observation is apparent before moving. The fact that these stars in the astrolabe are all fixed. And what it may suggest, that since Cerebral is described as Marduk, Jupiter, and also Mercury in one text, and yet changes course, Moors, you got to understand this. This shows that the fixed star of Cerebral may have changed position depending on when its observation in the various texts was made. I can show y'all all charts about the movement, but it'd take us too long. But the Mulapin, in the cuneiform text, 2 sets of tablets, Moors, is an astronomical compendium that catalogs and systemizes a wide variety of celestial phenomena. It represents a comprehensive summary of the astronomical knowledge of the period about the 7th century BC. And the first tablet begins by listing the fixed stars assigned to the 3 paths noted in the astrolabe material. And it dates of helical rising of 36 fixed stars or constellations are given, 24 of which overlap with the 36 stars of the astrolabes, including Cerebral. 2 tablets contained with the path of the sun, moon, and the planets, and the appearance and the disappearance of Venus, Jupiter, and Mars, Saturn, and Mercury are provided, along with the discussion of the winds and the solar year length of the daylight at cardinal points of the year, and the duration of the moon. The Mulian tablet. When I show you tablets and things, you probably can't see it on here, but this stuff is simple, man. I mean, we deal with all sections. What does the sources tell us about Cerebral? And we focus on certain things that do more than just list Cerebral as stars. In the tablets, in the Enuma Elish, tablet 5, is no doubt familiar to those who have heard of Zechariah's Sitchins or Cerebral before. And the Mesopotamian epic recounts the origin of the universe in a total of 7 tablets. And in the closing portion of the tablet 6, and through most of the tablet 7, the gods proclaim the 50 names of Marduk. The tablet 6, line 39 and 44, Marduk divided the Anunnaki gods into 2 groups, 300 in heaven and 300 on earth. And after doing this, in line 55, Anunnaki petitioned Marduk to be allowed to build a sanctuary and remind Marduk that he had earlier promised to build Babylon. And the Anunnaki then built Babylon at Marduk's behest, followed by their own shrines. And in tablet 6, line 121 through tablet 7, line 138, contains the pronouncement of Marduk's names. And one of these names of Marduk in line 124 of tablet 7 is Cerebral. And I'm just telling you, you can find this, man. I got all this. In line 124, the name is given in Sumerian, Cerebral prefix by the Dinger, the D-I-N-G-E-R, sign for deity. The Nebret. I'm telling you, I can break all that down and show you the observation. I can show you the specific Sumerian Akhenaten text that says Cerebral is the name of Marduk. I can prove this. I already did it. And you can see that Marduk, M-A-R-D-U-K, was the name of the planet Jupiter. This is elementary. And Cerebral cannot be a planet beyond Pluto. If it's Jupiter, think about this. How can it? Nerebru Marduk, Jupiter, has something to do with a crossing place. That is, the astronomical body itself isn't doing the crossing, but marks or position at the crossing point. And there's another point of contradiction with Zechariah Sitchins' pseudo work when he argues it is Nerebrus that is mobile and crosses into the orbital path of our solar system planet. And the text do not say that. The tablet 7 then continues in line 126 and 127 with the statement, Nebru, Kakabu, Susa Ina, Sane, USAPU-U. Nerebru is Marduk's star, which he made appear in the heavens. Lula Sabit Kunushaki, Sununa Lula Pala Suisa. He, Nerebru, is one who holds the turning point, the crossing point juncture. They must look to him. I'm telling you. And in an observation, when you research scholars, they note that the word Kunsagu or Tunsaju, Kunsaggu, is only attested in Unama Ilis. And there is a Kunsaga in another text where the word is parallel by the word Muru, M-U-H-Ru, which is a street sign or marker for a turning point during a processional circuit. And at any rate, Nerebru marks some sort of juncture or intersection. I'm telling you. And the final reference to Nerebru in tablet 7, line 130 to 131, where the name does not occur, but which continues the thought of line 126 and 127, that the stars of heaven, let him, Nerebru, set their course. Let him shepherd all the gods like sheep. And the text clearly labels Nerebru with the dinger sign again, and yet calls it specifically what? A star. Kakabu is the genetic word for the star in Semitic or Hebrew. It also says that Marduk, Jupiter, made Nerebru appear. And could this be a reference to a cataclysmic event, or perhaps some positional phenomenon, or is it just a mythological statement? Whatever Nerebru is, it seems either Jupiter itself, the apparent polarity being only a remaining of the same thing, or in some star extractability, it connected to Jupiter Mors, and it regulates the stars, keeping them in their course. And I can go on and on with the science, man, and with the references, but I want to stop right there. I want to stop right there, Morris. And that's what I told y'all, man. I got so much science, and it's the scholarships. When we don't follow for no pseudo academia, and Morris, you can't just give yourself a scholar. You must have something to compare to. And in that little bit of time, when Morris be following in these TV shows, I forget the name of the TV show where Morris sent me, and he sent me some show with some brother, he called himself some Egyptologist, and he had a thing on his head. And I don't disrespect nobody. I come in love. But I said, if I can show you something that destroys that Eurocentric idea you came from, will you rock with it? And most Moors don't, because they base their understanding on Eurocentric propaganda, and then talk about this European masonry stuff. And I'm like, but how can you base your scholarship on propaganda and it's not scholarship, and then call yourself a scholar? And none of that stuff can be used as peer-reviewed scholarly research. None of that Zechariah Sitchins garbage that the brothers was talking about. Talk about that Sumerian text. All that stuff came from that Zechariah Sitchins garbage. I'm telling you, Moors, and y'all know I'm telling the truth. So with that being said, I'm done. Any questions? Any questions? I encourage Moors to become students, because I said once our web page is done for our students and members, it's going to be over. And we have our page for our regalia as well. No more teachers will be on the internet. But I love y'all, man. Thanks for the donations. Fez and turbans coming out. right back in June when all this stuff is over. When I come back from Michigan, we jumping right back with the teachings. If you're not a member and a student and giving donations, every time you jump on my page, you will be blocked. I promise you that. Islam.